There comes a time in every person's life when the noise of the world grows louder than the voice within. When doubt becomes easier to believe than destiny. When you start questioning whether you have what it takes, whether you are enough. But let me tell you something, the greatest tragedy in life is not failure. It's disbelief in your own potential. You were not created by accident. You were not formed without intention. There is something inside you that was placed there long before you ever took your first breath. It's called purpose. And purpose doesn't come alive through the approval of others. It awakens the moment you decide to believe in yourself. Many people live their entire lives waiting for someone else to tell them who they are. They wait for validation, for applause, for permission to begin. But life doesn't hand out permission slips. The truth is, no one is coming to save you, to lift you, or to crown you. The power to start, to rise, to create has been resting inside you all along. The problem is that most of us have been conditioned to doubt that power. We have been taught to second guess our instincts, to measure our worth by the approval of others, and to silence the voice that keeps telling us we are capable of more. Every time you look outside of yourself for confirmation, you weaken the authority of the voice within. Every time you delay your dream until someone believes in it, you give away the power that was meant to move you forward. You were not designed to wait for someone to recognize your potential. You were created to release it. Inside you is an idea, a vision, a spark that no one else can see quite like you do. It's the quiet tug that whispers that there's something more to your life than what you've been settling for. That spark is divine. It was placed there for a reason, and it will never leave you alone until you act on it. But that spark can only ignite when it meets the oxygen of belief. Without belief, your potential suffocates. It doesn't disappear. It simply goes dormant, waiting for the day you finally say yes to it. The world is full of people who have dreams buried beneath layers of self-doubt. They wake up each morning feeling restless, knowing there's something more, but paralyzed by the thought that they might not be enough. The greatest tragedy is not failure, it's what happens when you never begin. Belief is not born in comfort. You can't discover your power while sitting safely in the familiar. Belief is forged in resistance, shaped in the fire of adversity. It grows when life presses against you, and you have to decide whether you'll bend or rise. It's in those moments when you're tested, when you've failed, when you've been overlooked, when you feel unseen, that you're actually being refined. Every challenge you face is not sent to break you, but to build the muscle of conviction within you. The people who do great things in this world are not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who decided to believe even when there was no proof that it would work. They acted on faith when the evidence said otherwise. They didn't wait for certainty. They moved with conviction. There's a reason why belief feels difficult. Because it asks you to see beyond what's visible, to trust something you can't yet hold. It requires courage to believe in yourself when your environment contradicts it, when others dismiss it, when circumstances make it look impossible. But that's exactly when belief matters most. Belief is not meant to be convenient, it's meant to be courageous. Anyone can believe when everything is going right, but true power is believing when everything seems to be falling apart. When you keep going despite the setbacks, you teach your mind that it is stronger than its fears. And once your mind learns that lesson, you become unstoppable. Every single person who has ever changed the world began with a private conviction that they could. No one saw it at first, no one believed it, and sometimes no one supported it. But they refused to be defined by what others couldn't see. They decided that what they believed about themselves mattered more than what others believed about them. And that decision is what separates those who rise from those who remain. You may not realize it yet, but the simple act of believing in yourself begins to change everything around you. It shifts how you speak, how you walk, how you carry yourself. It changes what you tolerate and what you pursue. It redefines your boundaries and sharpens your focus. People will begin to respond to you differently because they can feel something different in your energy. a quiet certainty that can't be shaken. When you believe in yourself, you stop begging for permission and start moving with purpose. You stop explaining your worth and start expressing your gift. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable and start standing in the power that was always yours. The truth is, you were never meant to blend in, you were meant to stand out. But the world won't see your light until you turn it on yourself. Every great story begins with one simple decision to believe. When you believe in yourself, you unlock something that no one can take away. Momentum, and momentum is divine. It doesn't care about your past, your failures, or your limitations. It only responds to your faith. Once you start, the universe begins to move with you. Doors open, people appear, paths unfold. Not because luck found you, because belief awakened what was already yours. So stop waiting for someone to choose you. You've already been chosen. Stop waiting for someone to validate you. You've already been qualified. The time has come to give yourself permission to begin. You may not see the whole path, but take the first step anyway, because that's how belief works. It doesn't reveal the entire journey, it just asks for your yes. And once you give it, everything changes. Life has a strange way of mirroring back to us the very energy we project. What you carry inside shapes what unfolds around you. The world doesn't respond to your wishes, it responds to your belief. If deep down you feel unworthy, life will echo that unworthiness in the opportunities you miss, the relationships that fade and the cycles that repeat. But when you begin to carry conviction within your heart, when you truly believe that you are capable, deserving, and equipped, the atmosphere around you begins to change. People start treating you differently, not because they suddenly see something new, because you finally started to see it yourself. Belief is invisible, but its effects are undeniable. It alters how you walk into a room, how you handle challenges, and how you interpret setbacks. When you believe in yourself, you stop seeing obstacles as proof of your weakness and start viewing them as invitations to rise. Everything in creation operates on the principle of alignment. A magnet attracts only what matches its field. A seed grows only in the soil that agrees with its nature. In the same way, your inner beliefs attract experiences that reflect them. If you believe you are powerless, life will constantly present circumstances that reinforce that feeling. If you believe you are capable, even chaos will start to bend in your favor. Your energy, thoughts, and words are signals sent into the unseen world, drawing back experiences that resonate with what you hold inside. This is not fantasy or blind optimism, it's the law of faith in motion. The invisible world responds to the conviction in your heart. When you walk with doubt, the world mirrors hesitation. When you walk with certainty, the world mirrors confidence. That is why belief is not something you can fake. It's something you must embody. Belief is more than a thought. It's a vibration that carries authority. You can say the right words, but if you don't carry the energy of conviction behind them, they fall flat. People can sense authenticity. They can feel when you truly mean what you say. When you believe in yourself, that belief speaks louder than your voice. It communicates through your posture, your focus, your persistence. Confidence is not noise, it's energy. It's a quiet assurance that doesn't need to prove itself because it knows what it carries. The world is drawn to that kind of energy because it is rare. Everyone wants to be around someone who knows who they are, who stands firm without arrogance, who moves forward without begging for applause. That energy inspires, it influences, and it ignites something in others. When you start to walk in self-belief, you give others permission to do the same. It's important to understand that believing in yourself doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending you have everything figured out. It means acknowledging that even with your imperfections, you are still enough. You are still growing, learning, and evolving, but your value isn't waiting for perfection. True belief embraces the journey, not the illusion of arrival. When you stand in that truth, you stop comparing your path to others. You no longer measure your worth by someone else's progress because you understand that everyone's timing is different. You begin to focus on what's within your control. Your effort, your attitude, your consistency. And life rewards that alignment. The more you trust your process, the more the process begins to trust you. People often mistake self-belief for arrogance, but the two are worlds apart. Arrogance seeks to prove something. Belief simply knows something. Arrogance needs recognition. Belief needs purpose. Belief isn't loud, but it's powerful. It doesn't demand attention, yet it naturally commands respect. When you believe in yourself, you are not declaring that you are better than anyone else. You are declaring that you are finally ready to be yourself. The world has enough copies, enough imitators, enough people chasing trends. What it needs is authenticity. When you choose to believe in yourself, you give birth to authenticity. You allow your true design to express itself fully. You stop suppressing your voice out of fear of judgment. You stop hiding your ideas because others might not understand. You stop editing yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You begin to realize that your uniqueness is not a weakness. It's your advantage. Believing in yourself creates a shift so profound that even your environment begins to rearrange itself. People who doubted you begin to notice your growth. Situations that once intimidated you now seem manageable. You begin to attract opportunities that resonate with your purpose. None of this happens by chance. It happens because your inner reality has changed. The energy of self-belief is magnetic. It pulls into your orbit the people and circumstances that align with your higher calling. It doesn't mean life becomes easy, but it does mean that you start to move through challenges with clarity and confidence instead of fear and confusion. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it. You stop chasing validation and start creating value. You begin to walk as if you already belong in the spaces you once only dreamed about. Every person radiates an atmosphere, a presence that speaks before they do. Some carry the energy of defeat, others of fear, and a few carry the quiet power of conviction. That power doesn't come from external success. It comes from an inner knowing. You can't buy it, you can't borrow it, and you can't fake it. You cultivate it by believing in yourself when no one else does. The moment you start to see yourself differently, life begins to see you differently too. That's how transformation begins. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Doubt has a voice and it speaks loudly. It shouts in the moments when you are about to take a step forward. It reminds you of every failure, every rejection, every time you fell short. It brings up the faces of those who didn't believe in you and replays their words like a haunting melody in your mind. Doubt doesn't come from nowhere. It feeds on your insecurities, your disappointments, and your fears. It disguises itself as logic, convincing you that you're simply being realistic, when in truth it's stealing the future that could have been yours. Doubt will always offer you safety, but safety is the enemy of destiny. You cannot grow in comfort, and you cannot reach new levels while staying wrapped in fear. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has had to face the noise of doubt. The difference is that they didn't let it drown out the whisper of destiny. Destiny never screams for attention. It speaks softly with calm assurance, waiting for you to quiet the noise and listen. It doesn't argue with doubt. It simply invites you to trust. It doesn't demand proof, it asks for faith. And because it whispers, many people miss it. They hear the voice of fear, because fear is loud, immediate, and demanding. But the whispered destiny can only be heard by those who are still enough to listen. That whisper tells you that your pain has a purpose, that your mistakes are not disqualifications but directions. It tells you that even in your lowest moments you are still on the path. Yet if you allow the volume of doubt to dominate, you'll never hear that gentle guidance calling you forward. You'll keep circling the same mountain, trapped in your own hesitation, convinced that the voice of fear is telling you the truth. There are moments in life when doubt seems reasonable. You may have tried before and failed. You may have believed once and got hurt. You may have poured your heart into something only to watch it fall apart. So naturally, your mind wants to protect you from more disappointment. It builds walls of skepticism to shield you from risk. But here's the painful irony. Those same walls that protect you also imprison you. You become trapped inside your fear, unable to move, unable to grow. Believing in yourself doesn't mean ignoring those scars. It means deciding that the scars are not the end of your story. It means accepting that failure was a chapter, not the conclusion. You learn to see every setback as a seed that taught you something essential, something that will make the next attempt stronger. The people who rise are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who never stop getting back up. The battle between doubt and destiny is fought in your thoughts long before it appears in your actions. You can't live a confident life with a fearful mind. Every time you think, what if I fail? You must also ask, but what if I succeed? Every time you hear, you can't do this, counter it with, I was born for this. You cannot control the arrival of doubt, but you can control whether it stays. The moment you start replacing fear-based thoughts with faith-filled ones, you begin to retrain your inner voice. That is the real work of transformation, rewiring the mind to agree with your potential instead of your limitations. You must become the guardian of your own thoughts because your mind is the gate through which destiny flows. If you leave it unguarded, doubt will flood in and build a home there. But if you choose to guard it, nurture it, and fill it with truth, you'll create an environment where belief can thrive. There will always be evidence to support doubt. Life will always give you reasons to quit, to settle, to play small. But destiny doesn't operate on evidence. It operates on faith. Faith is choosing to move even when you don't see the full picture. It's stepping into the unknown with the quiet conviction that you're not walking alone. Every time you act in faith, you silence a portion of doubt. You train your spirit to trust what's unseen. You begin to experience moments of alignment, small confirmations that remind you that you're on the right path. That's how destiny speaks through peace in the midst of uncertainty, through clarity that arrives after confusion, through doors that open when you stop forcing and start flowing. It doesn't come all at once. It reveals itself piece by piece as you prove that you're willing to move without needing to see the whole map. The greatest victories are won in silence. They happen in the private places where no one else can see. The moments when you choose to believe again, to try again, to forgive yourself again. When you do that, something inside you grows stronger. The whisper of destiny gets louder and the grip of doubt weakens. That is how courage is built, not through the absence of fear, but through the decision to keep walking in spite of it. Every time you choose belief over doubt, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you follow the whisper instead of the noise, you move closer to the life you were created to live. The voice of doubt will never fully disappear, but it will lose its authority once you realize it only has the power you give it. The moment you stop feeding it with your attention, it begins to fade. And in that quiet space, the whisper of destiny becomes clear once again. Steady, certain, and full of promise. To believe in yourself is to enter into agreement with the higher purpose that designed you. It is not pride, it is recognition. It is the understanding that your existence is not random, that you carry within you something sacred, something intentionally placed. When you believe in yourself, you are not elevating your ego. You are elevating your awareness. You are saying yes to the gift that was placed inside you long before the world had a chance to name you. Faith in yourself is really faith in the source that made you. When you trust what has been placed within you, you are honoring the intention of your Creator. You are saying, I believe you made no mistake when you made me. There is a divine design to every person's life, and self-belief is the bridge between who you are and who you were created to become. The tragedy is that so many people spend their lives rejecting themselves, doubting themselves, or hiding from their own greatness, never realizing that disbelief is not humility. It's disagreement with divine design. There is a false sense of modesty that convinces people that shining is arrogance. They dim their light in the name of being humble. But humility does not mean shrinking, it means standing in truth. True humility is the confidence to walk boldly in your purpose without needing to compare or compete. It's knowing that your gift does not make you greater than others. It makes you a servant to others. Your belief in yourself allows that gift to flow freely, to impact, to heal, to inspire. When you silence your belief, you don't only rob yourself, you rob the world of what you were meant to give. The most dangerous form of disbelief is not when others doubt you, it's when you begin to doubt yourself. That internal resistance is what keeps destinies buried. You cannot manifest the life you were meant to live while arguing with your own worth. The moment you stop fighting against yourself, you begin to experience peace, clarity, and direction. Faith in yourself is faith in purpose. You were designed with intention, equipped with abilities, passions, and insights that align with your unique mission. Every time you question your value, you're questioning that intention. And yet, even when you doubt, that purpose never leaves you. It waits patiently for the day you decide to believe again. You can run from your calling, but it will always follow you, whispering in the quiet moments, reminding you that you are meant for more. When you finally surrender to that truth, you stop chasing identity and start living authenticity. The world begins to respond differently when you live from that space. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach start to appear because alignment always attracts provision. The moment you align with your true identity, life begins to cooperate with your direction. Faith unlocks what fear has kept hidden. To believe in yourself also means to trust that you are capable of carrying what you've been called to do. Many people pray for opportunities, but doubt their ability to handle them when they come. But faith is not only about believing that something will happen. It's about believing that you are equipped to manage it when it does. Every challenge that comes your way is an invitation to discover a deeper capacity within yourself. Life will not give you more until you prove you can handle what you already have. That's why belief is so powerful. It expands your capacity. It allows you to see yourself not as you are now, but as you are becoming. The person you are today may not feel ready for what's ahead, but the person you're growing into is. The bridge between the two is belief. Without it, you'll keep shrinking away from opportunities meant to elevate you. With it, you'll start walking into rooms you once thought were too big for you, only to realize they were waiting for you all along. Believing in yourself honors the source because it demonstrates trust. It's saying, I trust what you've placed in me. When you stop doubting your ability, you are no longer questioning your creation, you are confirming it. You were not meant to live small, to hide behind excuses, or to silence your own voice. You were meant to express the fullness of what you carry. Every gift, every idea, every passion you've been given was not a mistake. It was a message. And that message can only be delivered through you. No one else can release what you've been assigned to release. That's why imitation is a form of spiritual waste. When you copy someone else, you delay your own purpose. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs the original version of you. And that originality is only unlocked through belief. When you begin to walk in self-belief, something shifts in your presence. You stop chasing validation and start walking in revelation. You no longer seek permission because you already understand your position. You move with quiet strength, with grace, with certainty that doesn't need to be announced. People feel it when you enter a room. It's not pride, it's peace. It's the peace that comes from knowing that you are aligned with the one who sent you. Belief brings that kind of peace. It silences the anxiety that comes from comparison. It calms the restlessness of not being enough, and it anchors you in truth. And from that place, your life begins to overflow into others. Your confidence becomes contagious. Your courage becomes a mirror for others who have forgotten their own. When you believe in yourself, you give others permission to rise too. That is how faith multiplies, not through words, but through example. When one person stands in the power of who they are, they awaken countless others to do the same. And that is how you honor the source. Not by hiding your light, but by letting it shine so brightly that it helps others find theirs. When you come to the end of every great message, there's a moment of silence. A pause where everything you've heard meets everything you've lived. And in that space, You are faced with a question that only you can answer. And do you truly believe in yourself? Not when things are easy, not when everyone supports you, but when the world is silent and it's just you and your dream. Because that's where belief is tested. In the dark, in the quiet, in the moments when no one is clapping and no one is watching. What you choose to believe in those moments will determine the life you build from here. Belief is not a feeling that visits you when circumstances are right. It's a decision you make over and over again until your mind aligns with your spirit. It's a choice to trust that what's inside of you is stronger than what's against you. Life will give you reasons to doubt, to retreat, to lower your expectations, but every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your foundation. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, move differently. You stop chasing approval because you finally understand that you already have divine validation. You start showing up for yourself, even when no one else does. That's what belief looks like in action. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's walking as if the promise is already yours, even when you can't see it yet. Somewhere inside you is a vision that refuses to die, a dream that keeps coming back, no matter how much you try to silence it. That dream is not random, it's evidence of purpose. It's the echo of destiny calling you to remember who you are. You might have buried it under years of fear, self-doubt, and disappointment, but it's still there, waiting for your permission to rise again. The question is, will you keep ignoring it, or will you finally give it life? You've listened to the opinions of others long enough. You've carried the weight of fear long enough. It's time to trust the voice within you, the one that says, you can, you must. You were made for this. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you'll never fail again. It means you'll never quit again. It means that when you fall, you'll get back up with greater wisdom. It means that when doors close, you'll stop seeing rejection as the end and start seeing it as redirection. Every moment you thought was breaking you was actually shaping you for something greater. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. And now that preparation has led you here, to this moment where the only thing standing between who you are and who you're meant to be is belief. The world doesn't change because of people who almost believed. It changes because of people who believed completely. People who dared to step out when nothing made sense, who acted on faith when everything seemed uncertain. You are one decision away from becoming that kind of person. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. Every great destiny starts with one act of courage. Every story of transformation begins with ones. That's the power of belief. It doesn't wait for perfection. It starts with willingness. So I ask you, what dream have you been delaying because you stopped believing in yourself? What vision have you been hiding from because fear convinced you that you weren't enough? What would your life look like if you decided from this day forward to trust yourself again? Take a moment to imagine it. Imagine walking with confidence, speaking with purpose, living with clarity. Imagine the peace of no longer second guessing your worth. That version of you already exists. You just need to believe enough to meet them. You are not here by accident. You are not listening to these words by chance. Something greater is calling you higher, and belief is your answer. It's time to step into your next level. Not someday, not when things feel right, but now. The moment you believe, you activate everything that has been waiting for your agreement. Life will always rise to meet you at the level of your belief. So raise your level. Trust that you are enough. Walk boldly in your purpose. And as you leave this message, I want you to do more than just feel inspired. I want you to take action. Write down one thing you've been too afraid to start and begin it today. Speak over yourself words of truth and strength. Choose to act like the person you were created to be, not the one fear told you to remain. Because belief is not just spoken, it's lived. If these words have reached you, if they've awakened something inside you, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, what's one area of your life where you're choosing to believe again? Your story might just be the spark that ignites someone else's belief. And And before you go, make sure you like, share, and then subscribe so we can continue walking this journey of growth and transformation together. Every week we rise a little higher, we grow a little stronger, and we believe a little deeper. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement of people choosing faith over fear and purpose over doubt. So, my friend, this is your moment. Stand tall. Speak your truth. Walk in your power. The world is waiting to see what happens when you finally, fully, unapologetically, yes, believe in yourself, Doff.